Welcome to those of you who are joining the live. I managed to experience my first tech gremlin by not actually using the pre-show for the last 10 minutes. It was running on my laptop, but it wasn't streaming. So for that, I apologize. And those of you who've been hanging around patiently, welcome and thank you for the comments. I'm going to take this evening's opportunity just to reach out to a new audience, give you a chance to come in and see what a YouTube live show could look like, whether it's a place that you would like to hang out with me over the coming weeks, which I do hope you will. And in the meantime, I'll also kind of run you through some of the setup that I've put together for the show here. And I'm going to take a little stab at seeing whether the comments feature is working, because I know that Brett here has very kindly put me a comment in. So let's just see. Yep, that's working. It's not working. Okay, hold on a second. Need to make some adjustments here. That's a bit of a shame because I thought I'd set all that up nicely. Anyway, here you are, Brett. Thank you very much for your comment earlier today. Just get that set up nicely so that when the next comment goes through, and also when we get some questions coming in, then I'll be able to put those up on the screen as well. So if you just give me a second, I want to readjust that again. Right. Maybe somebody else could quickly pop a comment in for me. If you're watching along on YouTube, make sure you can see and hear me. Let me know. And also, it'd be great to know where you're watching from. Meanwhile, just going to take a drink. So the tried and trusted mute button is working, so that's good. So I'm going to actually just star this comment a second, put it back up on the screen, because I obviously need to change the setup for my mobile viewers. So if you're watching on a mobile device, I also have the ability to give you a vertical viewing experience. So just making some adjustments to that. All right, perfect. So I do have some material that I want to go through today, but obviously I will just take a moment to get myself in order. And let's just get the presentation loaded up here on my iPad and plug that in. There we go, perfect. All right, and you have the opportunity to see a multi-camera setup here as well. So just making sure my cameras are all coming through as they're supposed to. Good stuff. So got my laptop over here on the side. I've got my iPhone over my shoulder here, so you can see the setup on the desk. Pretty cool, huh? And then we can come back to the main camera, which is in front of me. Now in future, I may actually get, another camera into the mix, but for the time being, I don't think that's necessary. So I also just want to take an opportunity to check whether the screen share and the slides are working. So my slides are on my iPad. Yeah, that's all ready. And the slides are set to go. So that's good. And also have the opportunity, should we wish, to have a look at certain things in a browser. And let's just use the Safari browser for that at the moment. So we have screen share capability set up down here too. So just to show you that that's working, I'll have a look over at, let's just say the BBC News. Actually, no, let's steer clear of news. That's not a great idea at the moment. I think let's just check over on YouTube, make sure that you can see on the screen, and I've got a laptop to the side here, just checking that that streaming experience is coming through too. So you can see YouTube. All good, fantastic. So what questions have you got for me this week? I know that when I was out and about at networking event this morning, actually, a number of people had actually seen that I was planning to go live tonight. Thought I was a bit crazy as well. I tend to agree. But I like playing with tech. This is an opportunity for me to do that. And it's also an opportunity for me to show up and serve, be here, hold the space for you, and maybe field one or two questions about business. Now, I'm a little bit surprised, given the interest that I received in the lead up to this, not to see many people showing up on the live stream. So I'm just hoping that perhaps, obviously, life's got in the way, or notifications haven't gone out. Okay, well, as I said in my post about this on LinkedIn, I do imagine there might be one or two gremlins, and that's normal for something like this. This is a big undertaking to put on a live production. So let me tell you a little bit about what the ambition is for the show, like why we're here, and a little bit about myself so that you know what to expect in the future. And I'd also like to share with you who I'm here to serve. So that way, at least, you get an idea of who to spread the word to about this live show. Okay, so without further ado then, let me share a couple of slides that I put together. It's easier to talk those things through than just to make things up on the spot, right? So, what can you expect? Who's the show for? And how do you get involved? So, first things first, you've come to the right place if you own or manage a small business. It might be your company, or you might be a leader in a small team in a business that's growing. Or maybe, like me last year, you've got to a certain point in your life where, and I put over 45 because we are talking mainly here to people in midlife, you've got to a point in your life and your career with some free time, perhaps. Maybe the kids are leaving home or have left home, or they're full-time education, but you've got a calling to build something of your own. And you realize, frankly, that life is very short and we get one shot at it. I mean, I was talking to somebody today, I won't disclose who they were, but they know who they are, who just recently lost a parent. And having lost my best friend in 2008, I know all too well what it's like looking in the mirror and realizing there is no guarantee of tomorrow for any of us. And so maybe if you're at that point where you realize there's something else I'm supposed to be doing here, then this is a place for you. This is a place where you can explore your ideas and you can get some specific help, tactics and support, guidance. Listen, I have nearly, we'll come to that in one of the slides in a minute, but I have nearly 3 decades of experience to draw on here. So, there's a fair chance that I know where to point you if I haven't got the answers myself. Taking stock of the situation that I found myself in, I realized that each life-changing event that you take on, births, deaths, marriages, buying a home, starting a business, they challenge you in new ways. And I think the biggest thing to sort of take from this is that when I left the corporate space last year in 2025, I had a bit of an identity crisis. It wasn't that I had doubts about what I was doing, but rather it was very much about, how do I find my purpose? Now is my chance. Now is my time to do this thing that I've wanted to do for so long. So actually, what is it? And finding the work that you love and making sure that you are living in alignment with your values. Sorry, there's a little bit of delay into the headphones. So if I trip over my words occasionally, that's why. I apologize. Building a business in this era, so at this time, has never been, it's never been harder. According to people that I'm talking to out there, again, at these networking events, they're telling me, been running my business for 10, 15 years, 20 years sometimes, never seen it this tough. Now, obviously, I'm in the UK, hence the accent. And unfortunately, quite a lot of small businesses are weighing up whether or not they should be closing their doors because the government here isn't making it very easy for small businesses. Business rates are going up, national insurance contributions are going up. cost of energy has gone up. Inflation is sort of under control now, but still it's put a lot of pressure onto our cost of living and the cost of running a business. Add to that, you've got wars going on, obviously in Europe and in the Middle East. AI is everywhere, threatening to take everybody's jobs, right? Wrong. But, let's talk about that in a future show. Unemployment is high. The growth projections in China recently, I think were 5% for an economy. That's the lowest, or below 5% actually, and that's the lowest they've projected their growth is going to be for, the longest time. In the US, you have lots of unemployment. The UK unemployment rate's over 5% now. And apparently there are over 1 million young people in the UK who are not in any form of training, education, or paid full-time work. And so there's a big problem coming up in the lower end of the market. People with less experience starting out in their careers, finding it very hard to find good work, full-time work. At the same time, at the top end of the market, I say that in terms of years of experience, there's real ageism out there. We need to call these things out when we see them. There was an article in the Sunday Times only a few weeks ago about, in the money section, talking about ageism, how people are adjusting their CV and their profile to try and make sure they are included for consideration for job interviews. From a personal perspective, I racked up nearly 3 decades of corporate experience, and I'm super proud of the work that I did and the people I got to work with over those years. But candidly, I'd like to do something different now. And that's why I started my business. And yet, finding your clients is pretty hard. And some of you might be sitting there going, well, you just need to work out who your ideal client is. Okay. And when you've done that, you need to come up with a list of target businesses. Okay. And you just need to go and knock on doors and somebody will buy your service eventually. When you're doing all of that on your own and you're trying to make a pivot after spending your entire working life in a corporate space and in paid employment as an employee, then for me, it's less about having to wear all the different hats. It's more about what goes on between the ears in terms of your self-belief and your confidence and, looking yourself in the mirror and recognizing what you bring to the table, how much you are worth to yourself and to other people, and finding the pain or the problem that you can help them with. That's where a lot of energy has gone in the time that I have spent since I left that corporate space. You also have to unlearn a lot of corporate bullshit, quite frankly. Lingo, let's call it that. A lot of terminology and phrases that are, usual in the corporate space. You need to speak in a different language when you are in the small business community. And obviously, I've put down here AI this and AI that. I mean, my point is AI is here to stay. We're not going to change that. But it's about how do you use it? How do you embrace AI? How do you work out what it is good for and how it can make you more effective or more efficient, your teams? How do you empower them with the right tools to do their work? And obviously, you then have to kind of make sure that you are clear in your communication with your market, with your customers, about what it is you do, and when things go wrong, how do you fix them? Because that's all part of running a business. It isn't just about the numbers. It isn't just about the sales. It's about taking care of your clients as well, as you know, but doing it in a slightly more systematic way if you're on a path to growth. I also went through quite a lot of reflection about whether to lead with a business brand or with a personal brand. So if you've been following any of my content now for a while, you know that obviously I've been on LinkedIn, prolific on LinkedIn for the 6 or 7 months at the end of 2025, all leading with my personal name. And more recently, I've actually made a change to talk with the brand of Tall Poppy Leaders. Tall Poppy Leaders, actually, which I created 10 years ago as a brand. And I only realized that a few weeks ago, coming up on the anniversary of 10 years. And it's thanks to the fact that during the networking events that I've been out at, when I hand over this card to people, it usually starts a conversation. Because I don't know what your eyesight is like, but on the back of the card, it says helping you stand out in your field. What do you want your business to be remembered for? Now, I'd argue that you are your business. For the people that I'm working with, there's a high degree of correlation between you as the individual and the business itself. You are the face of the business in a lot of cases. Now, tall poppies, what happens to tall poppies? They stick their head above the parapet and usually gets cut off. But those are the people that I want to work with, the people who want to stand out, the people who want to stand tall and stand out in their field. And so, yeah, it's come full circle after almost 10 years that actually I'm now leading with Tall Poppy Leaders as a brand positioning, which is why you can see it emblazoned in the top corner of the display here. But that's all part of the journey. It's trying to work out what resonates with the market, what resonates with you, and doing what you love and not only what other people might expect you to be doing. I got plenty of advice, shall we say, from well-respected friends, former colleagues, coaches, who were saying you need to lead with customer service or customer experience because it's kind of what you know. And yet, in all the time that I've been putting content out there, it's the personal angle, and it's some might call it the founder story, but it's the stuff that's deeply personal to me and my journey and communication skills that has come back time and again. And the people that I've talked to and that I'm working with as clients initially came to me with questions around their own personal confidence and how to show up. Show up, it brings me on to the last point, which is about being in the right rooms. So when you're trying to, grow a business, there's no substitute for meeting people in real life, seeing people face to face. And so that's been a lot of where my effort's gone this year, is in-person networking events. And I put a piece out about working the room when you're networking, and that was probably one of the better LinkedIn responses that I got to my content at the back end of last year. So maybe look out for that one. Right, so who is this guy? Enough of the boring stuff. I know that there's a few people watching and joining in, and thank you very much for being here. Don't be a stranger. If you do drop in, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You're watching on YouTube, there's a chat window you can see. Right, so I've just noticed something in this photo in the top left corner of my slide here, which is very fitting. But the top left picture here is, I don't know if you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor? No, I need to get one of those things that highlights the cursor on the screen. This is the black and white house in the centre of Ledbury in Herefordshire in the UK. It's a town where I grew up, spent quite a lot of years as a young lad going to school. And in the foreground of that shot, what do we see? Red poppies. How about that? I started my career in Paris, and after a couple of years in Paris, I moved to Brussels. So we've got Paris, obviously, if you know the Eiffel Tower. We've got Brussels just below the Ledbury Black and White House. And below that, we have Bremen in northern Germany, where I spent a fabulous year drinking lots of beer and smoking far too many cigarettes and supposedly studying. No, I did do a bit of study, to be fair, but we did drink a lot of beer. Anyway, that's all in the past. After that, started the corporate career, and along the way, I've worked for PwC, BT Global Services, Virgin Media, Zendesk, many more besides. And the little logo that's just hiding behind Tall Poppy Leaders in the top right corner is that of my wife's business, the Pilates Foundry, here in North Hampshire. And Trish runs that business, has run it now since 2013. So yeah, I've had a lot of experience working with her on topics that I plan to share here with you in this room, so to speak. And yeah, what else have we got on here? Well, our cat Nellie, she is our boss. Most important person on this slide is my wife. Well, you can see us last year, 2025, the end of the London Marathon, which was actually our third time running London. Yeah, so that's the important, attractive-looking woman in the middle next to our cat Nellie. And yeah, the photograph of the Chinook is there because I'm now involved with the RAF Air Cadets as an adult volunteer. And it's another way that in this stage of my life, I'm able to give back is through that adult volunteering. Similarly, and finally, these last two pictures at the top in the middle, Auckland, New Zealand, and no prizes for guessing New York City, both of which I've managed to spend some time living in, or close to Auckland technically. 4 months in New York, 2004, was also quite memorable. All right, so people ask me, what is it you do? I help people. I help them develop their confidence as a business owner. I help them improve their communication skills themselves personally, maybe when they're stepping into a room, give a presentation, they've got a podcast interview coming up, they're running a panel, they are stepping into the breach as the founder and CEO of a business that perhaps their partner used to run. Either way, I'm working alongside them as a trusted advisor and coach. I'm providing a safe space also here and in my paid membership, which is launching soon, for the exchange of ideas and providing solutions to problems that you might come up with, in your business as you seek to grow. Looks like I have missed something on the slide, but anyway, the businesses I work with are primarily service-based businesses, but not exclusively. I've worked quite a few training companies along the way as well, and you'll see those testimonials around the place too. But obviously in the corporate space, working in customer success, I looked after easily 40 or 50 different clients in different parts of Europe, Middle East and Africa from a variety of industries. So there's a huge amount up here of experience that we can draw upon to kind of explain how things work in other parts of the world or other industries, and how that is even relevant to the way that you think and plan to grow your business. There's a lot of rigor and discipline and structure that I can bring to the table. But the primary thing here is I want to hold the space, I want to listen, and I want to be able to help you move forwards and grow your business, the thing you care about. Maybe you're looking to get investment, or maybe you're looking for an exit, or maybe you're not sure. Maybe you're struggling, or maybe you're looking for an accountability partner, somebody that you can chat to on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis who can just help you keep moving forwards, and a lot more besides. Ultimately, communication is at the heart of everything. And that's what I just wanted to touch on today. It starts with you. You're at the heart of the business. You're the face of the business in a lot of cases. And your communication skills matter because your personal effectiveness relies on your ability to communicate clearly and with confidence in a credible manner. Now, you won't always know the answers. I haven't done this kind of exercise for 4 or 5 years, going live and talking to what could be an empty room in a live YouTube setting. But ultimately, I'm doing this because it matters to me to show up and share and serve and to try and hold the space for you. And when I've done all this deep work over the last few years leading up to the decision to leave corporate, it was very much about communication communication, communication. The people that I've loved working for, that I've respected the most, have been excellent communicators. We were never in any doubt where we were going. We weren't in any doubt what each person brought to the table, and the way that we were going to get the job done was clearly articulated. This is what I want to help my clients, people like yourself watching this, to do increasingly in your business. It reflects on you and how you lead your business, and ultimately you're taking your own people on a journey of self-improvement and self-betterment. The best leaders hire for their, let's call it, weaknesses. That's a word I don't particularly like, I can tell by my body language, but you have a set of skills, a special set of skills acquired over a long time, no doubt. As you build your business, you'll identify the areas where you just don't know the answers, or you have no inclination whatsoever to do the work and go and find out. So you're going to bring somebody in to help you. And so you want to be able to clearly communicate your expectations and have an ongoing dialogue with those people about how the job is getting done. It comes back to communication. And ultimately, a rising tide raises all ships. If you're a good communicator and you set that tone for the people in your business, they will follow you. I skipped one, sorry. There's a lot of words on this slide too, so maybe I'll make the slides available afterwards. Either way, when you're running a business, it's about the numbers. Customers pay the bill, and so they do matter. How many times have I had conversations with people about, okay, what's your customer retention like? Well, it's pretty good. Our customers stay with us for years. Okay, but how do they feel about dealing with you? What do you mean? Well, what's their view about doing business with your company? Do you make it easy for them? Do you get customer feedback? Yeah. What do you do with it? Not a lot. Okay, that's fine. Most businesses don't. Most businesses don't even gather customer feedback in any sort of formal, structured way. If you did, or when you do, then you have a consistent feed of feedback and input and ideas that help you stay on your toes, stay in alignment with what you're trying to do as a business, and improve the products and services that you're putting out to market. Helps you improve the bottom line of the business because you don't have to repeat yourself. You don't have to, get calls from customers to see if they've got your email and whether you're on it. All these things, as your business grows, mount up. And so, when you're looking to scale a business, it's as much about what systems and processes do we put in place to make sure that we iron out friction for the customer and for our people, so that we make life just that little bit easier for everybody, and we can continue to count on the goodwill of our customers, and maybe if we do an outstanding job, they'll become a raving fan and they'll go and tell more people about us. That helps you grow in a profitable way, which is what we all want. Now, I've touched on some of this already, so I'm not going to drain the slide here, but for me, it's about systematically listening and taking note and doing something with the information you gather from the customers that you ask. Okay, so if you take one thing from today, maybe have a look at a way in which you could systematically ask the next 5 or 10 customers that you speak to, which isn't that many, what could we do better? That might be worth writing down if you didn't already. What could we do better? And then use the feedback you get. And where I see most organizations fail, they just file those things away. They might read the survey responses or the emails that they get back, but then typically they sit on it and they don't do anything with it, which basically means that, you're doing your customers a disservice if you ask them for feedback and do nothing about it. How did it make you feel if somebody asked you for your input, you gave it to them and then they did bugger all with it. I don't think that's a particularly good way to, operate. All right, let's move through a couple of these things. We'll come back to them in future. I was going to ask you what this brings up for you. So if you're watching the replay, thank you very much for getting to this point. I would ask you to make a couple of notes, maybe drop me an email. You can always email me at ryan@soperpowell.me. So that's ryan@soperpowell.me. I'll put that up on the screen maybe towards the end. But in the meantime, if you are here watching live, feel free, don't be shy. Let me know in the comments what the content I've just shared with you about communication, what does it bring up for you? What sort of thoughts is it leaving you with? And I'm just going to take a drink a moment. And whilst I do, I'm also just going to give you something a little different to look at. I think we will go over here. And I'm just, as I say, going to mute and have a drink a second. Okie dokie, we're back. So we're coming up on, 31, 32 minutes live here. I'm pretty happy with how this has gone in terms of production. And I invite you, when and if you see the replay, to just let me know in the comments, how come you weren't here live? So I put a poll out on LinkedIn over a week ago and I asked what time of day would be better for this. Would it be 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m.? And I also put a call out in a few of the communities I belong to. And, 6 p.m. UK definitely came back as the preferred time. So, my ask for you over the next little while is to think about people that you know who are building a business. They've established that business. They've got it to a point where it's working quite well, but maybe they've hit an inflection point and they're not quite sure how to take it forwards. They are looking to find people to have in their corner. I was just trying to find a slide here, but I'm not going to go back to it for now. Oh, maybe I will. Let's just put this back up on the screen a second. So, yeah, if you're running a small business yourself or you're part of a team that's running a small business, and by that we mean up to 200 employees in the UK, but most of the clients that I work with are definitely on the lower end, typically between sort of 5 and 20 employees typically. But ultimately, you're in a business that's working. You've proven the model. You've got customers. They're staying with you fairly well. You're in the services or software space primarily. And yet, you're not quite sure how to move forwards. You're looking for ways to grow that business. And you know that what's got you here isn't going to get you there, because now it's about putting more sort of structure and systems in place, being a bit better organized with things. And primarily, you identify that there are some challenges around communication. Okay, be that your own confidence and communication as a leader, going out there as the face of the business, or internally trying to get people to buy into the direction and that next stage of the growth that you want to take them on, and or in the marketplace. Maybe your marketing is something that you haven't really sat down and figured out, or maybe you just want a fresh pair of eyes to look over campaigns, to look over your web presence, to give you some feedback on how you come across to the outside world. And if you're looking for somebody in your corner whom you can bounce ideas off and get some, I suppose, the benefit of nearly 3 decades of experience working in big organizations like PwC, Virgin, Zendesk, and many others, then give me a shout. I will just switch camera a moment whilst I change the slide here. because I thought I had my contact details on this slide deck, but it's actually right at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave you with a taste of something that I'm working on. We're in March of 2026 right now. My intention is, over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, to launch my paid membership community. So I'd just like to take a couple of minutes to explain to you what that might look like, and I'll bring further details back to future calls, obviously. But here we go. On one page, I'll be launching this relatively soon, so probably in April or May, and I'll be looking for a smallish group of founding members to join me. It will be a paid membership, but it's designed to be a safe space for you as you build your business. If you've got an established business, perfect. If you are coming out of corporate and you're thinking about it, it may not be right for you unless you've already got an idea you're working on and you want some real practical steps on what to do next. Most of us don't know how to set up a business, get it off the ground, so there will be opportunities to discuss that, and depending on who comes forward and how many people put their hand up to join the membership and where they are in their journey, I might run separate sessions for those people. But here's the thing, I'm all about holding a safe space for you. I want you to feel comfortable and confident in that room with the community that I'm building, and it will be an international community. It will take a while to get there maybe, but I want to bring the best of the other rooms that I enjoy hanging out in and make it part of this community. There are, of course, other communities out there similar to this, but sometimes they tailor specifically female founders, for example. Now, it would be a bit icky if I did that, if I led with this is for female founders, irrespective of the fact that most of the people that have been paying clients of mine over the last number of years are female founders. Either way, I'm opening the doors to men and women who are running businesses or starting a business. It's a paid membership. You have different tiers of support to support your needs. Sorry, tripping over the delay in the microphone headphones there. I'll be running clinics and events on Zoom, probably every 2 weeks for some of the people in the community and every 4 weeks for others. I'll be providing email and at this stage I'm thinking WhatsApp support. I may set up a circle community or something like that, but ultimately you'll be able to send me questions in between the calls depending on the tier of membership that you have, and I will respond to you within either 24 or 48 hours so that you can keep moving. You don't have to wait for the next call to come up in 2 weeks' time or whatever. Okay? So it's about providing a safe and supportive environment of like-minded people. I want you to be able to bounce ideas around together and get input from the collective. Okay? Because I don't have all the answers, but I will bring people to the room who do. There'll be people that I'm meeting along the journey or that you meet and that you want to introduce to the group, etc. A lot of the definition here is being worked on in the background at the moment, as well as my intellectual property, my frameworks that I'm working with my clients on. So I am just finessing some of that so that I can share it within the community when you come in as well. So if this is something that even sounds vaguely interesting to you and you'd like to be on the notifications list when I start communicating to the wider world about the launch, then please just visit this URL on the screen. It's a nice friendly URL for you. I don't use bit.ly, but I use my own domain name, ryansp.me/waitlist. So if you are interested in finding out more about the Catalysts Collective, which is my paid membership launching soon, then I invite you to visit that page and drop in your details. That would be awesome. Thank you. Now, in the meantime, if you have got this far in the show or you skipped ahead, I would like to read your comments on YouTube or by email. So if you want to leave a comment below, I'd really appreciate that. Constructive, please. If you have a question, maybe preface it with a Q, just so it's easier for me to find when I'm scrolling through the comments. And yeah, otherwise, perhaps we'll draw it to a close there. It's 20 to 7 in the UK, so it's perfect time for some of you to go and get your dinner. If you're in the US, it's probably coming up on lunchtime now, and it'll be same time next week. If you have a suggestion for content that you would like me to talk about on an upcoming show, then all you need to do is to drop me an email. So obviously, I'm Ryan Soper Powell, a small medium business coach. That's what the SMB stands for here. Interchangeably SME, SMB, but ultimately that's who I am. And let's just put the email up on the screen so you can use that. Ryan at, there we go. All right. So you can email me any questions here. All right. Put it over my mouth. So I will bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching. And as I say, please do comment below. Any questions, I'll read them. I'll respond to you shortly, and I'll see you the same time next week. Take care. Thank you very much.